everybody. I just realized those were all my dogs.
Hello.
On video. Oh, that's okay. Maybe we'll do a video with your dogs later today. Welcome, everybody. Come on in. Jump on in.
Hello.
Hello.
Super exciting. We are getting so close to starting the forever new world of online dog agility training with the three of us. And I've got a ton of questions we're going to answer, but I have a question for all of you to answer first. And Enya has made it clear that maybe the Europeans might not quite understand my question. So hi from New Zealand. Let me know, let us all know where you're from. And I'm going to post the question that I have for you. And it goes over my head and it goes over Enya's head. Here, we'll have to do like this, Enya.
I understand it now with the options.
There we go. So what is your preferred venue to trial in agility? So number one is I don't trial yet. My dog's too young or I'm just new to the sport. Number two, I do AKC mostly, or that's where I prefer to do. Number three is I do FCI or UKI, or if there's another one, you can name it. Like there's in America, there's USDA, there's CPE, there's AAC, there's TCAP. I don't know. There's all kinds of them. So number one, not trialing yet. Okay. And hello from Poland.
Cool.
A FCI, AKC, Germany number three. Germany only has one venue. Do you have UKI there?
I think we have multiple ones, but the only one that usually is used so much is FCI. Okay. So mostly FCI, I would say.
And I should have put, instead of AKC, I should have put Kennel Club, because the Canadian Kennel Club isn't the AKC. The United Kingdom Kennel Club is not the AKC. So Kennel Club, well, you can go number 5. CPE, AAC, and I hope one day to do UKI. And Nanette says, number one, she is not trialing yet. And she's from Toronto, just down the road.
Oh.
Cool. And Heather Burns, yes, you are in my backyard. And if you're in my backyard, like literally right now, you're going to scare me a bit, Heather. So we're going to talk about, it was a weird title that I named this live. This is the last live, the three of us. I got to get rid of that question, but I don't know how to do. What if I sit over this way? Here we go. Okay, and you're going to have to sit over that way a little bit while the question's up so that you kind of lean. There we go.
I'll sit over here.
Perfect.
Things where I'm sitting.
Well, just for a little bit. Well, I love to see people's answers. So
I'll be here.
So we have some UKI, we have some Kennel Club, kind of a mixture, and then we have a lot of people who just aren't trialing yet in agility. This is going to be our final live of the masterclass series all together, because tomorrow night at midnight registrations close, and we get busy helping students in our programs. So that's super, super exciting. But I named the live questioning your questions because we have a lot of questions to answer, but I wanted you to consider, you know, how, whether you're joining us and moving on with us, or you're training alone, or you have another way to improve your agility, your questions are just so important. So I want you to, Max and Enya, as instructors, what are some of the questions that people might ask themselves or talk to themselves that they're just not healthy?
For example, what I hear a lot, not only like on online stuff, but also for generally training the young dogs or training your adult dogs, is that you don't find the time to do it. And I can tell you, the seminar schedule that I worked the recent years is crazy busy. And it was so hard to maintain the skills of my dogs, to keep them fit and ready for the challenges. And what helped me, you just have to put a schedule and you have to create a habit out of it. And maybe in the beginning, that's just once a week. But it's better to do once a week than not do anything.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I don't have the time is usually something that I used as an excuse for like not putting in the effort for it. But actually you can make time if it's really
Yeah.
important to you.
So
Of
the
course.
question you might be asking or saying to yourself is, why can I never find the time to train my dog?
Yeah.
And that's just not a healthy question. And so we need to reframe that. And if, what time do I have? And as Max said, with his busy seminar schedule, which is changing because we're doing more online, so Max will be home more.
Yeah.
And so like for Max, it was making it a habit, which is and you don't ask yourself those unhealthy questions like, why can I never find the time to train my dog? Also, don't you find that if the training you're doing is something you love, it's easier to find that time, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Another one that I hear is that I don't have, like, maybe more for online classes, but also sometimes from like one-to-one classes, I don't have the access to equipment, or I don't have the spacing that I need to train this. That's also something that I think is similar to Max. Is okay, but I mean, as we've talked about, there's so many things you can do without equipment, and when you need equipment, I mean, we have been guilty of creating our own equipment. I mean, we heard about Mac's story with the broomstick. And that's also something that I hear quite much, that no, I don't have access to equipment, or I'm 1 hour from equipment.
How many people in the chat don't have regular access to dog agility equipment? Just say yes or no. Yes, you have a backyard full of agility equipment, or no, you are limited in maybe even in your space. One of my students lived in a high-rise apartment in downtown Toronto, and she still managed to have 3 great agility dogs, 3 of them, 2 of them border collies. She had to walk about 4 blocks to get to any grass every time their dogs had to go to the bathroom. So
yeah, I think maybe the reason why, like, that was the first thing I thought about when you said, like, what do you hear? That was the first thing I thought about. And maybe it's so close to me because of my story that I also shared in the previous live about not having that access. And I mean, of course, I understand that driving 11 hours to
Not
equipment,
everybody will do it.
but there was so much I could do in my house.
but even if I'm going to get rid of that banner so we can sit up properly. Even if you don't have access to equipment, that's the really cool thing about what we do in Agility Nation and Handling 360 is we show you how the skills are built away from agility equipment. So many of you in the comments are saying, no, I don't have access. No, I don't have access. So if you think about agility is about dogs being a team with us, partnering with us, about responding to our motion, about, maybe they're running towards a tunnel, but we give them a cue to something else that they'll happily turn away from that cue. So when you think about all that, I'm just going to show you a few little games with Profit here of things that are in Handling 360 that you can do in your living room, you can do in your bedroom, you can do in your backyard. So there's some really other great questions coming up, but I'm going to make sure you guys can you hear me still?
Yeah.
We hear you.
Perfect. So I got a toy. I can bring it back. It's tricky. You ready? Yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, first, I'm just going to show you. Thank you, Mike. What? I'm going to make it easier for people to see. Max and Enya, I'm getting rid of you. So you can just watch. So I'm going to remove you for now, and I'll remove. Oh, I have to keep me on because you have the microphone. Okay. So this is like handling agility, right? I'm turning. I'm going in the other direction. I'm going back in this direction, right? Okay, so that is something that we'll do with our dogs away from equipment. It's also a discrimination. So he said, So that's a tunnel that my dog is heading towards. Ready, set. And if I wanted him to get the tunnel, he'd get it, but if I didn't, ready, set, sorry, what? So those are a couple little things that are just like, that's just a discrimination. I'll add Max and Enya back in here. So those are just a couple of little things that we, that are part. Got a dog here. Can you go hop it up on your bed? I would rather play. Hop it up. Thank you. That was audio is choppy. Maybe when I was over there running, because of my incredible speed, that maybe faster than the speed of sound. So possibly that.
Probably.
Right?
Yes.
Possibly that affected the audio. Okay. So
Yeah.
Those are just like, we have literally like hundreds of little pieces of the puzzle that take you to a place where you and your dog have brilliant behavior because, as Max pointed out in Masterclass 2, criteria is fun. So Prophet, when I said ready, set, hop it up, he didn't go, I want to take the toy and hop it up. He said, oh, that's not what you said. Okay, this is fun. All right. Yeah. So much of what we teach in Handling 360 and in Agility Nation is away from the equipment.
Yes.
Okay, so there was a question that I saw. I have gravel in my yard. So Leslie, if you said, I can't do this, I have gravel in my yard, what's a better question? What could I do on gravel? So, or is there a possibility that I could, guess what? I've got some turf I'd love to get rid of. Is there a possibility you can get a little piece of turf that you can put down over that gravel, roll it up, roll it down? When I lived in a house where there was no agility nearby, this was going back a long time ago, I didn't drive 11 hours like Enya, but I would pack my jumps that I made myself, by my jumps into my car. Actually, I put them in a wagon and I just took them to the park with my dogs. So if you don't have, some of you like my student in downtown Toronto who lives in a high-rise apartment, there is no possibility. So what can she do? I don't know if you're familiar with apartments in Toronto. It's not like she has a penthouse. She has a 1-bedroom apartment that she does these little behaviors in that tiny little 1-bedroom apartment. Here's a great question if you guys want to address that one.
Does dog breed make a difference? I mean, you can do agility with any dog as long as it's healthy and in a physical condition to do agility. There is no limitation other than that.
Exactly. And in North America, they have a lot of every venue, UKI, CKC, AKC, they all have they all call it something different, but an area where you can run the same courses, but at a much lower height, and some of the more difficult challenges are removed. So let's say you have a St. Bernard you want to do agility with, but it's crazy. They can't jump like 60 centimeters or 24 inches like that. They probably could, but it wouldn't be safe over a long career, so that they can jump a much lower height. And sometimes they call that preferred or whatever. So no, the breed does not make a difference. What makes a difference is that you love the breed you've picked.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you'll have the patience. Okay. So some of the other questions that when we talk about questioning your question, things that you need to consider, like you putting yourself down, you putting your dog down, because whoever's around you will hear that and they buy into that's who you are. That's who your dog is. So things like why does it could be about your dog, it could be about you, or it could be about what you think is possible. So things like, why is my dog so slow? Right.
I was just gonna say that because I came up with another one that I've heard, that people say, yes, not with this dog, like with the next dog, or when I have a puppy, or it's not worth investing in this dog. And then that's, like you say, first of all, that's a negative thought towards that dog. But also, like, I always encourage those people to come to training with that dog that you obviously find difficult, because if you learn to train that dog, imagine the knowledge that you can get. Like we've all started with terriers. We shared our story, and we heard about Max and his struggles with Emma. And I mean, what if we wouldn't have wanted to learn that dog, the dog that we had? Then maybe we wouldn't be the dog trainers that we are.
No, absolutely not. And I was a slow learner. I had 3 terriers, and I do plan on getting another terrier because I do love them. Well, B is half terrier, isn't she? She's not even half. Oh yeah, she's half. So it's about the conversations in your head, because the group you surround yourself with is going to support that joking. It's like somebody calling themselves, what was that movie with Fat Amy? What was it?
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect. You call yourself Fat Amy. Well, if you shame yourself, it gets easier when other people shame you. But what happens with shame? This is so important. You grow to be somebody who doesn't want to fail at anything. And when you get to be in a position where you are afraid to fail, then you're very reluctant to try something new. And if you won't try something new, then you're going to be stuck where you are. There's so many people in the sport of dog agility who are still training their dog in 2024, the same way they trained their dog in 2014, the same way they trained their dog in 2004, the same way they trained their dog in 1994. Like, I've seen these people for decades because they don't want to change anything because they're afraid it won't work. And so your peer group, I think, is so important. And that's why I love our online community, because they're like-minded. They've identified me, now Enya and Max and I, as their people.
Yeah.
And so that is a community. We don't want everybody in our classroom. We want people who want to be lifted up. We don't want the people who create drama around themselves for attention. We want people who say, I want to get better. I want to be a lifelong learner. I want to move forward. And so it's such a, I'm going to say that again. We all have had some shame in our lives. Maybe it's from things we couldn't do. For me, I was always the tiniest kid in the class, and people liked to make fun of me. But guess what? I had 7 brothers, so I was pretty tough by them. So we all have that shame that we carry around, and then we get to a point where we don't want any more shame. So then we don't try anything new, and that holds us back from so much fun, and holds your dog back from so much fun, right?
Yeah,
for sure. It's also like a position that you're in, that you just won't leave. So it's kind of your safe space,
Yes.
But your safe space could be so much more and so much better if you try to leave that zone, leave the bubble.
You grow your safe space, right?
Exactly.
So you try something new. How many of you, I'm curious, how many of you started the Focus Forward demonstration that we had in the masterclass and continued to grow it? How many of you just watched it and said, I'm going to plan and I'll do it later? So let me know. Somebody asked if we were live, because it appeared that we weren't. We are.
Look, here we are.
Live.
Caitlin says she did. Now I know that Caitlin has joined our Handling 360. So Caitlin tried the Focus Forward, and Claire, is that
There?
Claire?
Yeah.
She's growing it. I started making progress. I have
Maya's doing it. Anya's
Robin's doing it.
Mhm.
Oh, Joanne, working on it daily. I love that.
That's
Because
good.
I've heard from people, they aren't growing it because they're afraid to make a mistake.
Yeah.
You need to, if you say, I'm not doing this because I'm afraid to make a mistake, I need you to do like two or three things. Number one, I want you to start singing in the grocery store at the top of your lungs, or maybe doing what Kim did and do the dance in the airport.
Hammer time.
Summertime dance. So do things where you care less about what people think. And you are okay with not being perfect at something. Your dog would love you to be that person, because that's when, as Max said, you keep growing your comfort zone. Because agility, I mean, it's especially when you're starting out, but even I've been doing it for 30 years. It's not something you ever perfect. You're going to go in the ring and you're going to fail. You're not going to get every course. You're just not.
Yeah.
And if you take it on personally, I didn't get through it, therefore I'm a failure, then it's hurting you. And we don't want that. We want you to be bigger, keep growing bigger. And agility is one thing that can help you get to that place. Okay. So,
and your dog.
And what was that? And your dog.
And the dog as well. For
sure. I'm going to go to some of your questions. We're going to come back to this. So questions. I have a question regarding Agility Nation. I'd really love to join, but I would like to know more about the coaches that will be giving feedback. Is it possible to know the names for the full transparency, or if that is for some reason an issue, at least something more about them? What level of agility are they doing? Are they part of national teams, attending great competitions? I would like to know more. It's my only consideration. I hope you understand. Okay, so first of all, I will tell you about our coaches. When you join Handling 360 or Agility Nation, our coaches are listed. Their first and last name and a little bio about each and every one of them. We have a lot of coaches. And we have coaches for specific parts of the learning. So if we have coaches who, I think every single coach so far has been brought up in my online program, from recallers all the way through Handling 360 and Agility Nation. So we have coaches that specialize in the dog training, and we have coaches that specialize in the handling. So in Agility Nation and in Handling 360, you will need both. So we will have people that aren't at a national elite level of agility, but they are brilliant at the dog training. We also have many people that have been on and continue to be on world teams. So Gabby from Brazil, she started Handling 360 10 years ago, and now she's been on, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years, I know for sure she's been at the AWC representing Brazil. This year she's there with 2 dogs. We have several national champions from Australia that are our coaches. Unfortunately, they can't go to AWC because of quarantine, but they are absolutely stunningly brilliant dog trainers and agility handlers. So yes, it's full transparency when you join the program. But the bottom line is, the program is from Enya, Max, and I. If we've done our job, you will have complete clarity how to have success with the skills we are sharing. The coaches, in my dream world, the coaches are just there to give you some attaboys. That's amazing. That's just like Max pointed out in the video. You've nailed it. Like, that's what we want our coaches to do. So if we haven't done that and our coaches need to actually teach you, then we need to pull up our straps. It's on us. It's not on the coaches. So I hope that answers that for you. Sally, Susan, do you take a form of 1-TDC? Personally, no, because I'm vegan and that's beef tallow. So I don't take it. But my dogs all do, because they're not vegan. None of them. Okay, more questions. If you
also asked, can I sign up but wait to start?
I'm not sure why you would want to do that, but maybe life's in the way. So like, maybe you're in the middle of summer holidays and people do that. They sign up, but they don't start for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Maybe you're getting a new puppy in a couple of months. Jump in and start printing out all of the puppy path lessons. Start learning them, because This isn't about your dog, as I don't know if it was Max or Enya said, start working with your older dog, or go to the neighbor's dog and start training. Like, go to the shelter, teach all those dogs at the shelter, focus forward. You'll be a star, and then start teaching those lessons. So yes, the question for sure, you can wait to start once, and just learn, but you can still get the coaching when you're ready. Okay, here's Lisa, one of our students. When you ask a question, it is under the comment section in the video you have just watched. Oh, yes, it is. It's not, no, Lisa, we don't answer questions in the Facebook group. Facebook groups, because a lot of people aren't on Facebook, but a lot of people like Facebook groups. So Agility Nation and Handling 360 have Facebook groups. Mostly it's for, look what I did at this trial this weekend. Isn't this amazing? Sometimes people say, where in the course can I find this? But generally it's more social, because so many people today don't go on Facebook. And so all of the questions the coaches will be answering will be definitely under the videos. Okay, that's a really good question, by the way. You guys can, if there's any more questions there, I'm just going to look here.
Someone wrote something that is in German, Max.
Yeah, I see it.
Really?
Yeah, Maya. Wait, no, it switched. So I think growing more self-esteem is the capabilities of your dog and yourself without becoming cocky and arrogant in ways of, and then it's a German sentence. I don't know how I'm supposed to translate that. It's die Weisheit mit Löffeln gefressen zu haben. It's kind of like, I cannot translate it word by word. It's somehow like eating wisdom. Yeah, basically like Steve Jobs said, stay foolish. So yeah. I think it's a very good reflection about the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much success I have. I love to adopt a beginner's mindset in everything I do, so I can be aware of what else is there. What else is there out there, right?
I love the Steve Jobs reference, since our puppy is named after Steve Jobs.
Stevie.
Okay, with the 7-month-old I should scratch off the ones we've already answered. With a 7-month-old BC puppy, I'm leaning towards H360. My main focus is to make sure I give my dog the best opportunity to fulfill her potential. I do not have training experience at this level, but I love to learn and I love to have fun with my dog. So Pamela, definitely I would jump into Handling 360. And if you feel like that your puppy, like 7 months, maybe they get 9 months and they get to be a bit of a handful for you, we always can make a pause on that on Handling 360, and you can go back to do the dog training in a recallers program. So 7 months sounds like a great age. If you feel like your dog will retrieve and will come when they're called, I think that's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
And there's a puppy path in Handling 360 that gives you a lot of skills that you can do.
Robin had a nice comment. Says the coaches are very supportive. I find their feedback supportive and specific about what looks best in our video. And also there will be the 5th Monday with a Q&A session directly to Susan, Max, and Enya.
Perfect.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Robin. That's a great point. So the beauty of an online classroom is we have the teaching videos. It isn't just us going, look at our world championship dogs. Aren't we great? You do it now. It's us breaking down the skills into steps for you to be successful. And so you video your training, and then you look back at the video that we taught, and you look at the video that you have and say, are they the same? And if they aren't the same, how are they different? And then you go back in and you fix that part. And if you can't figure out how they're different, that's where the coaches will come in and help you.
Yeah.
That's a great point about, we're going to be there doing Q&As whenever there's 5 Mondays in a month. This one is, will I get concrete answers to concrete questions? I know what the issue is with my Kelpie, has little confidence. I know what should be done, make her feel safe and make training fun, but I don't know how exactly to do it. She seems a little autistic, if I may use that word. So I'm confused about the logic of the behavior. Tips that work with other dogs may not work with her. Some of my local agility coaches also struggle with her. One said, "What an interesting dog," quote. So there are a lot of people teaching agility. Very few of them have an actual love of the study of behavior. I fell in love with behavior when I was an undergrad at university and I took my first animal behavior course. And so I'm fascinated by anomalies. I've had my share of anomalies in my dogs. And, you know, as long as, Helen, the goal is to help make life better today for your dog than it was yesterday, and you're not in any hurry, you will get there. I was trying to put together a video for today. I will put it on Facebook when I finish it tonight. And it's a video of Dissy was in a workshop this weekend. And I love looking at where we were as an 18-month-old puppy. An 18-month-old puppy who could not even do a single jump or a tunnel because of behavior struggles that we had. And then you look at Prophet, who's only 14 months old and it's just been so easy to train. Yeah. No two dogs are alike, and we can't expect that. We have to accept the dog that we have. Hopefully, love the dog for everything that about the dog. And I think, Helen, you are, because you're asking, how can I help this dog be better? And so if you just say, this is what I have, and yes, you need strategies. So Max and Enya, I've seen them do this when dogs are lacking in confidence. They, like me, will take the training away from agility and just, what can that dog be brave about? And just grow that every day. So yes, you will get concrete strategies. Okay.
Yeah. So I had one question that I got on Instagram.
Okay.
And it was a little bit, what if I cannot keep up with the content being uploaded? Like, how can I follow along? What happens if I cannot make it through that fast? And so the thing that I think you have to understand about the programs is that we're giving you the system that you can work through to achieve more and more, and to grow more and to become better. And that's not a plan of today you have to be able to do this and tomorrow you have to be able to do this. You start at this step and you continually grow into the next steps. And then we talked so much about the goals in the recent live streams that you have to set for yourself step by step as well. And we're here to help you having that system. I remember, Susan, you had this awesome quote. I cannot repeat it completely, but it's like failing to the level of your systems.
Right.
You will never raise to your goal. Was it like this?
Yeah, we never raise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Yeah.
And we're here to provide the system, and then your dog and you learn to grow into it more and more.
Exactly. That's, I mean, it's just so true. In Handling 360, for example, there is way more information than you'll get through in a year. So don't try. The goal is for you to be brilliant after a year. We have people that after the fourth classroom enter trials. There's 6 classrooms, but they're entering their trials after 4 because their dogs are brilliant. I have taken so many online classes to learn about how to do online classes, so many of them. And I've never finished one of them, but it's worked, hasn't it? I got value from it because all of our students that are in the online classes. So people get tripped up about keeping up or getting things done. It's about creating amazing opportunities for you to grow and progress and to be so much better than you ever dreamt possible. And we know that's going to happen with the people that are joining us right now because of what we have planned for the year to come.
Yeah.
I dropped my toy. It's like a security blanket for me. Kim, do you have questions for us? Oh, okay. I think this is that recolors or? Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was running contacts or recolors. I am on recolor day 23. Should I finish before doing H360? That is a question that if you write us at wag@dogsthat.com, that one of our coaches will be able to answer that better than, because I don't even know your name. So I possibly might have seen you and your dog in recolors, but I don't want to tell you, oh yeah, jump in, because maybe that's not the appropriate answer for you and your dog. I will tell you, remember, you have a 1 month guarantee period. So if you feel like stepping into an area of the unknown and trying the first few lessons we have for you in Handling 360, then you can decide and either ask for a full refund or ask to put your membership on hold. And whenever you're done, you can jump right back into Handling 360. So if you join Handling 360 now, and then, 6 weeks in, you go, okay, I've gotten really busy. I didn't know my mother-in-law moved in and it's getting a little hectic around here, and I really want to get through recolors first. Just ask my team to pause your Handling 360 membership, and we'll do that and tack that time onto the end so you actually get more time. So it's probably a win-win-win for you. So I would definitely suggest, unless you are, if you think, oh, my dog's not ready for this, I don't want you to encourage you to do something that might be overwhelming for both you and your dog. I don't think I gave you a very good answer, but I gave you my best answer. I'm still confused about the content difference between Handling 360 and Agility Nation. Does Handling 360 offer weaves and contacts? What do you guys want to take that?
Yeah, so what we've said, explained it a little bit earlier, is that Agility Nation is more like Netflix. Like we produce content every Monday. We have our Monday themes with the virtual seminar, the toolbox, and the course strategies, and then the skill testing. And so it continuously add content into that program. And when you're in Agility Nation, it's a little bit more like Netflix. Like you go choose that series that you want to watch today. You can pick and choose a little bit more what you want from that program, and finding the value that suits you a little bit better. And there you have contacts and weaves and puppy training. And yeah, there's so much in there. And then Handling 360 is more like start to finish, how we would prepare our puppies from the first day we get them home until they are competition ready. So that one is more you start at A and you finish in the end. So it's not meant to jump around, and it does include jumps and tunnels, but it doesn't include contacts and weaves. That is in Agility Nation.
Perfect answer. There's another question similar. I'm not clear on the differences. What would you choose for a 4-year-old dog running at the master's level, but finding the need to expand on our handling systems and also work on some weak spots? I haven't watched the 4th video in the masterclass, so maybe it's in there. So Heather, 100%. We have dogs of all ages, as long as you're willing to say, I'm keen to learn. I'm not here to cherry pick. I am keen to learn and adopt this system. Then for sure, jump into Handling 360, start at the beginning. You can still keep trialing if you want, but you might get to a point where you go, wow, I could save my money, not go to trials, and really just go full on. The weekend I would be away at a trial, I'll just go full on into training in Handling 360. But if you're the person who, for social reasons, likes to be at trials with your friends, it doesn't matter. You could keep progressing.
Yeah.
There was another question here. My question is, this is from Kelly. My question is, what exactly is changing in January for Handling 360? Are all of the foundation exercises going to be new with Max and Enya, or just added on a bit of content from their perspective? Great question, Kelly. And there'll be nothing new in January, but in January, the three of us are getting together, completely reshooting all of the videos. So I'm not saying all of the games are going to be brand new, but they will all be new versions of them put into Handling 360, because good foundation is good foundation.
System is the same, but it's us three together and refilming everything. And correct me if I'm wrong, Susan, but the old videos are still staying in there, right?
The old videos are staying in there until we are completely changed over. Absolutely. Yeah. I have an almost 3-year-old dog that has great skills, but ring stress, exhibits zoomies or sometimes sluggishness. We do a semi-private and 2 group lessons a week. I've done recallers. I'm afraid if I join Agility Nation, I'm overworked. He's not a border collie. What are your thoughts? I always, when people say that the dog is exhibiting ring stress but has great skills, like I tell people, it's like saying he does it great in the backyard. Now, Judith, I don't know what your dog looks like doing agility, but what I want you to do is look at a video of your dog doing agility in an area that they're comfortable. Does the dog's head look at the first jump and then not come off the course until the end? Or does the dog look up at you, look down, turn the wrong way, come back in, go slow on weave pulls or contacts? Because all of those things are telling me that they're not as confident as they could. So I don't care how fast my dog goes, as long as the head's down and there are no questions. If I want skills faster, then I work on speed. But the first thing I do is work on the dog's confidence at understanding what we want from them. Right?
Yeah.
For sure. And then I think if you listen to the previous streams that we did when I talked about Emma, my terrier, like once we had some of the skills and I wanted to go to competitions, I felt, okay, she cannot handle it. So then I progressed, got the agility more confident away from that situation, and then worked in these environments on different things. So I went there, did my tricks, and just gave her more confidence in the environment, apart from the agility. Still progressing the agility in an environment that she can really grow confidence in. So I think that might answer the question.
Yeah. I think this is the elephant in the room we'll talk about now. Stacy says, I have a sport dog that competes in many dog sports, and we are now just starting a private agility training in the coming weeks. So one-on-one lessons with somebody. I watched your masterclass and I'm grateful to the three of you. I feel more prepared to show up for my first lesson. However, with complete respect for your time and knowledge, I simply can't afford your program. I am a dog trainer. I get why cost is where it's at. I value the three of you, but the price tag is what's keeping me out. I remain your super fan and watch for more good info. So the couple of things in there is, as a dog trainer, if you want to keep growing your skills so that you can help your students, like, I think you should consider going to the absolute best source of information you can. Let me just share with you, when I became a professional dog trainer in 1989, I think 2 years later started driving 9 hours to get one-on-one education from somebody who I felt was the best in North America. I probably drove by 200 dog trainers, facilities between where I was and where I went to. I drove into the United States, to the East Coast of the United States, to get that information. And the three of us continue to invest our time with people that we know are achieving what we want to achieve. And it isn't just winning. It's doing it in a way that aligns with how you want to live life with your dog. You want to be in a reinforcement-based program. You don't want to punish your dog. You don't want to blame your dog. And so there's so many things to unpack in that statement. I get that maybe this isn't going to work for you, but you can go on an installment plan where I think it's $129. I really should know that off the top of my head, to join Handling 360. And I promise you, it will improve all of your dog sports. If you want to work in a reinforcement-based dog training program, that's a biggie. So investing in yourself, investing in your skills as a dog lover, I think is imperative. But as a professional, I think it's just crazy. I think, Gigi, 169 is for the bundle. But if you just wanted to start, you could go $79 and start in Agility Nation. However, she said she's brand new to agility. If you're brand new to agility, 100% you should be starting at H360.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's 129. Somebody on the team will help me out there. And other people have said it's out of your, we get it. For some of you, this isn't going to work, but at $129 for 10 months and you get 15 months of access, like there's just nowhere you are going to get that level of education over a how much is it going to cost you to do agility lessons for 15 months? Let's just say modestly, you're paying $20 in gas and $25 for a lesson. And modestly, you're not going to go 52 weeks of the year to those lessons. Let's say you go 40. That's $2,000 right there or more. I don't know. I'm not great at math off the top of my head. For just 40 weeks. What about like we're talking about 15 months that we're giving you.
Yeah.
So you're well over for a class that you aren't sure what kind of education you're going to get. You are sure joining this program, you're going to get a great education. And we give you a guarantee that you can jump in and try it for a month in Handling 360 and for 2 weeks in Agility Nation. 120. See, I bumped the price. And I think somebody in our community had already told me that. It's $120 a month for 10 months to be in H360. And then we reinforce you for joining in if you can swing it. In actual fact, if you can do PayPal or your credit card, it probably is going to work out to less than 120 times 10. Wow. Kim keeps, can you give these to them? You guys keep writing. If you have any other questions, put them in the chat, and I'm going to continue to answer these questions here. Working my 7-month-old through recallers and homeschool the dog. Regarding Handling 360, how do you get your dog ready for all of the distractions of the agility ring? Okay, why don't you two take that one, because it's actually an easier answer than you think, guys.
Max, go ahead.
So, can you repeat the last part of the question? I was just reading another question in the chat.
So we have a puppy. Where did I? Wait. I'm mixing them up. Sorry. Oh, did I read one on another one? Here it is. Working my 7-month-old through recallers and homeschool the dog. I'm questioning homeschool or Handling 360. How do you get your dog ready for all the distractions of an agility trial?
Yes. So I think we talked about it already a couple of minutes ago, that we need a good foundation and we want a system that our dogs are confident in. And we don't necessarily do that on obstacles. We do it by playing games and by bonding with our dog. And that means even with your 7-month-old puppy, if you go with for example, your adult dog to a competition, or if you just visiting friends there, socializing, helping, whatever, and you bring your puppy, that's the perfect environment to do all of these small games that you already started with, just to grow confidence in the environment. And that will help you for sure prepare your dog for these situations.
It's crazy how, like if you were to take your 7-month-old puppy to an agility trial like now, right now, their head would be on a swivel. Oh my gosh, there's dogs running. I remember when Buzzy, my dog I wrote about in my book, Shaping Success, I took him to a trial. I think he was 6 months old. I wrote about it in the book. And he saw the first agility dog of his life that he ever saw running was a obese Labrador retriever jumping only little low jumps with an old man that was walking with a cane in the ring. And Buzzy thought that was the greatest thing he'd ever saw. He screamed. He went, I had to go the distance of 2 football fields away from the ring to get him to focus on me. So a puppy that's 7 months old, they're interested in, oh, look, there's a leaves flying. Oh, look, there's a squirrel. Oh, look. But the more we play these games that Max talked about, the more their focus is not on the things that are not important. And it gets narrowed and narrowed and narrowed onto the things that are super important. That's the cool thing about training in agility, training the right way. Unfortunately, the stories we've heard, a lot of people have been writing in since our first master classes where I was saying, you know, in the olden days, they used to put cheese down the middle of the dog walk. We've had people say, oh, my class still puts 2 leashes on our dog. And one instructor goes on one side of the dog walk and the other goes on the other. And we make the dog go over the dog walk over and back. Like there's still these stories out there, guys. Going to a class isn't necessarily going to advance your training.
Yeah.
Going to an excellent, elite, reinforcement-based, game-based class is what is going to lead you to a better place. So it breaks my heart to still hear those stories. I have a puppy. In one of your master classes, you said we can still join recallers even though it's closed. I did hear from my team about that. Do you recommend recallers or is it similar in Handling 360? Handling 360 is just about handling. I recommend recallers first if you have a young puppy, and I stand by what I say, and I will take the heat from my team. You write into the team at wag@dogsthat.com and you tell them, Susan said I could join recallers today. And then I get to deal with the handing out chocolates to make everyone forgive me later.
I got one question that I find quite interesting to answer.
Okay.
It's if you 3 have different approaches to teach a skill, will you show the most successful way for the majority of dogs? So I think my opinion on that is that like the base idea we all share. So as long as it's positive reinforcement based training and a choice that our dog is making and learning through that, progressing through that, you can't go wrong with that usually. So I think if this would happen, for example, that we would maybe start in a different place, I think what we will try to do is we will cover everything, all of the steps that make sense. And we're in close communication with each other. So we won't send anything out that the other 2 haven't seen.
Exactly.
So we will talk about it and we will make sure that we deliver.
Yeah, but I think also like now going from Susan to us 3, it's also bringing other perspectives into the program. Because I mean, if we would do, as you say, Max, we have the base is the same. Like we have the same way of how we want to do our agility, what we want our dogs to look like when they do agility, and that it needs to be science-based and dog training and reinforcement based. But we also do things different, and I think that's what's so cool about us now collaborating is that if we all did the same, it would just be what was before times 3.
Exactly.
Now it's what it was before with 2 new people added that can also bring stuff. So I mean, even if the core is the same, I think this is what makes it so cool because we will have things that we do slightly different. I don't think so far we haven't found any like major differences. But the small things that maybe makes it a little bit different can also be what makes it even more worth for any type of dog or any type of person, because maybe you learn really good from one person, but then you go to another one and they explain it in a way where you're like, oh, now I get that. So I think it's just really cool that we have like all the insights from us three.
I think you had a couple of months ago, you used it quite often when we talked about something that Zane and Remix have very in common with the backsides. And then you use a word that I really love. Enya said, Max, I need to pick your brain again. And I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to pick each other's brains.
Yeah.
And we're going to deliver you the best of all of this.
And what I love about how we come up with solutions for our own dogs and for our students' dogs is too often I see people making solutions by like making putting gates somewhere so that the dog can't do something wrong, or putting lures out there so the dog must. And it's funny, I was at the seminar this weekend, and Prophet, I would send him to a backside and run away because I have to, because he can catch up so fast on me. There were 3 people that are on the Canadian World Team whose dogs didn't do that backside. Because they weren't trained in the same way. There isn't that confident independence. I'm not telling tales. They're all talented people. Dogs mess up, but these are experienced people with experienced dogs. And going back to a way, the criteria has to be fun so the dog wants to do it.
Yeah.
Prophet wants to do that backside. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. He's like, yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
Right? And that's the different approach. There's so many different approaches to agility, but we all share that common vision of creating a deep desire for the dog to want to do the correct thing, not have to do it, or not prevent them from not doing it. It's just a different mindset, and you're getting it ×3. And not only are you getting it ×3, you're getting differences of cultural upbringings, because we're from 3 different countries, and you're getting it from different generations because there's such a massive age gap between us. So yeah, okay, minor. It's just small.
And different dogs. I mean, we also run small dogs. We run another category. So I mean, there's so much coming into the program. So I think, really cool. I need to read this one. Debbie says, best investment I made in 8 years. I made 8 years ago to join 360 and Agility Nation, and it just gets better. Looking forward to next level with 3 superstars, and I get to meet Enya in November when she comes to New Zealand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Word.
There was a question, and I can't find it right now, but I do want to talk about it. And then I'll go back to this question. And the question was that I do AKC, and you guys seem to be focused on international agility. So is this going to really make sense for me to do? I can't find the exact question. We have a lot of people, and that's why I asked, what venue do you participate in now? We have people in pretty much every venue currently in H360, and we do things that like won't be of interest to you if you're doing AKC, and you probably won't care about doing threadle layers. But all of the foundation that allows us to do threadle layers are what you need to excel at in AKC. And we are always going to be respectful of all of our students and their joy of doing agility in their venue. And we're going to continue to support you so that you can absolutely maximize the fun and maximize the success in whatever venue that you choose to participate in. That's really important that you know that.
But I think it's the same as the previous question when we said like the core is the same. And I mean, if you have the base, regardless if you want to do those threadle layers or the international courses, I mean, the behaviors and that the dog can do them with confidence and regardless of handler motion and all of this, it's the same. And I mean, the base is the same. So if you have the base, it doesn't really matter where you go from there or in what way you choose to get your special skills. So I don't think it matters at all, or I know it doesn't matter at all what venue you want to compete in.
Exactly. But this is a great comment. I want one of you guys to read that. That's beautiful.
So Jesse writes, well, all these questions, all these insecurities, I'm done with. I'm in anyway. It feels right. It will improve us one or the other way. Susan, Enya, Max team, we see us in Agility 360.
Let's have some hearts for Jesse,
Yeah.
because
Great.
there is always a little bit of, is this the right thing? Especially, it's a big investment, but you will realize it is not that big an investment when you spread it out over those 15 months and the unbelievable value that you're going to get from working with us over those 15 months. So Jesse, thank you for sharing. What kind of dog does Jesse have? Is that it's really difficult. Is it a powder puff? Is it an Old English sheepdog? Is it?
I think
can't
it's
see
a powder puff.
Is
Yeah,
it a
maybe.
powder puff?
Mhm.
So
Looks like a powder puff.
so cute. I have a 2.5-year-old dog doing agility for a year now. We have competed, but a lot of topics to solve. Is it too late to start handling 360?
No.
It's never
Not
too late to learn.
Your dog will be so grateful that you are getting some clarity to deliver to them. 100%, it is not too late, for sure.
Yeah. And it's a powder puff. Jesse writes, it's a powder puff.
Yeah, I know my powder puffs. My sister has powder puffs. That's I can tell. I can spy them even from a little JPEG. My eyes aren't that great. How do you keep a young dog excited about agility?
Oh, I
They
think
love
it's
the criteria.
Hmm?
They love the criteria
Yes.
of the games.
Yes.
If you have
They
a
love-
young dog that doesn't love agility, you have to look at the way it was taught. That's it.
Yeah. And maybe to add to this a little bit, because I can definitely see, for example, my young Sheltie Rebel, that she needs a different approach than, for example, my other dogs. So in order for her to love the criteria, I have to reinforce the criteria much, much more than, for example, with Remix, because she's so eager for the criteria on a natural basis. And with Rebel, I reinforce it more and more to grow more drive and more confidence and more joy to it. So sometimes it also helps to reflect on the training that you've done in this session and see, okay, but maybe the problem was that I didn't reward and didn't reinforce the 10 things that were great. Focused on that one thing that didn't work.
We are going to alter the way that you reinforce your dog in training. It isn't about completing an exercise that earns a reinforcement. And that just that little mind shift, whether you join us or not, we're not telling you to reinforce crap behavior. We're telling you to not allow the crap behavior to, if you're getting crap behavior, then you're asking for too much for where that dog's level of confidence and education is now. And so, yeah, life is, I promise you, life is going to change when you adopt some simple training philosophies that we're going to continue to remind you of in every lesson.
We had one more here in the chat. She says, brand new 4-year-old novice. Would we sign up for 360? No place within 2 hours to take classes. I do have equipment, but lots of rain in the winter. Could you help us? I would say yes. Handling 360 is definitely the place.
100%.
And as we've said, like the first classrooms doesn't even require equipment. And then when you've reached that level of when you need equipment, looks like, yeah, you do have equipment, but lots of rain in the winter. Yeah, but there's so much you can do off equipment. So definitely handling 360 is the place to be.
Yeah.
And this question makes me a little bit sad. And I'm not going to, even though the person wrote the country they're from, I'm not going to shame that country. But they wrote, in blank, most trainers are not positive. How would you work around with all of the aversive techniques without following them? So that is sad, but it is the reality of life. And I live in a bubble where I don't ever see it. I rarely train places that aren't reinforcement based. And when I do, it hurts my heart because I know it's not necessary. And so if you are going to those classes because like you're in handling 360, but you want a place to test your skills, then you just make sure that every time there's a person that yells at a dog, or a dog gets corrected or yelled at, or something worse, that's the opportunity for you to play with your dog. So that the dog learns the crack of a collar means a game is coming for them, so that you can continue to flood your dog's environment with nothing but positivity. And of course, you don't let them put their hands on your dog. It's a no, thank you. It's not creating an aversive. You just say, I'm good. I'm, even compliment them is a great way to get around. You know what? We're not at your level. So I would just like to just continue to work with my own dog for now. Right. Like,
yeah, I'm also getting this feeling that, okay, if it's this approach towards dog training in this country, then maybe this person can be the change.
boom.
I mean, because maybe with everything you can learn in our programs, you can show people that there are other ways and inspire people. And I'm sure there are people there that maybe thinks this is the only way. Maybe not the people that are teaching the methods, but people that are training with people who teach the methods, and they think that this is the only way. Then what if someone comes and shows, I'm having fun with my dog, my training is reinforcement based, and I'm successful? Then be that person who inspires other people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Being that I've been doing this sport for so long, I have been in that position of shame where I was trying to teach my Jack Russell to weave without the use of a correction or an ah. And I mentioned this before, that the people were standing with their arms crossed saying, mark my words, that dog will never weave ever in a competition. And she won many US national championships. And with Buzzy, when I wasn't doing it great, but I wasn't going to correct him. I wasn't going to use force. And back in the 90s, nobody knew how to do reinforcement-based dog training incredibly well. And people said, oh, this dog's going to teach her that clicker SHIT is not going to work for this dog. Every dog needs a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. Every dog just needs kindness and understanding. That's what they need. And that's what we all believe. And it doesn't matter what breed of dog. It doesn't matter if you have a husky, you have a sighthound, you have a terrier, you have a sporting or a non-sporting, you have a field bred dog, you have a beagle that always wants to go on the ground. They don't need to be manhandled. They need to find joy in the criteria, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. And any dog can be trained with positive reinforcement. I mean, I used to work in the military, training military dogs, and I've heard that comment so many times. No, for this type of dog, you need this. And I never did.
Another question. Do you have coaches that specialize in NADAC and large distance work? I would. Now, I know Max has probably never even heard of NADAC. But I would be willing that he could take any one of his dogs to a NADAC trial and outdistance the most distance dogs. So distance skills aren't exclusive to NADAC. I know NADAC competitors are mind-blowing how good many of them are. But that's built into our program. Whether you choose to use the distance work or not, it's built into the program. And I mean,
I can tell you, like, I've just done course strategies that I filmed with my dogs, and I did in every sequence, I did one option where I didn't need to sweat. So one option where I didn't run, and it was no problem because the skills are there.
Yeah, but it's every time we come together to train as well, it's always this, oh, can we try to crazy layer something? Can we try to send on crazy distances? I mean, we talked about it in the previous live as well, that even if we want to run, the skills still need to be there.
Yes.
For us not to. Like, that's how we build our dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, probably with every sequence, that's ever been invented in agility, there's going to be more than one way to handle it.
Yeah.
And so, and when we are presenting these sequences to you, that we are going to give you multiple ways to handle it for sure. Especially Max and Anya will have a small dog opportunity to show you what it looks like with a small dog, but quite often it's the same thing because their small dogs have such great distance work. It's awesome.
Yeah. But that is the new course strategies. That's what I love so much about course strategies, is that not only the analyzing of the course or the sequence, it's also trying it in so many different options, with running options, with no running options. So that's what's so cool about course strategies.
I want to just give a heart out to Monica. Monica had this lovely comment. I listened to my heart, not my internal financial advisor. And I bought your bundle. Looking forward to learning from the three of you, my kind of people. That just makes me teary-eyed that, you know what, find your people, find your tribe, and spend time with the kind of person you want to be, the mindset, the love for dogs. It will literally change your life. I remember it was probably 20 years ago, and I was meditating in the morning, and I said, I want to find new people. I want to find people that make me feel better about life, about my dogs, about myself. And I just went on this quest that the people that wanted drama, the people that love vague booking and want attention that way, they're not my people. And I don't like the person I become when I'm around them. And I'm just so grateful that that little meditation in the dark 20 years ago changed my life, because I knew it was a choice to spend myself around people that fill me up. Like, why is it that am I 62 or 63? You would say the older age anyway.
No.
I'm 63 and I love being around young people and being challenged and learning and being inspired. So I just honor, Monica, that you said that, because everybody looking at Handling 360 or Agility Nation or the bundle, there's going to be that little voice in your head or on your shoulder telling you all the reasons why you're not worthy. You're not going to follow through. You don't have the time. You could be spending your money on other things. And you have to decide, how do you want 15 months from now to look like for you and your dog? And I think after, all the lives that the three of us have done, what kind of people we are, the way we love dogs, and we love helping people with their dogs in a very reinforcing way. And the question now is, do you want to be part of this first group? We're so excited about this first group of people who are joining us. We want to make these people superstars of their tribe, so that not everybody wants to be a world champion. Maybe you want to be the absolute best Kazan at the National Kazan Championship. We want to help you get there. Or maybe you just want to be the champion of dog agility in your backyard.
Yeah.
We want to help you get there. Our goals don't have to be your goals, as long as you have the same love for dogs that we do.
Definitely.
That leads me to one question that I also got on Instagram, which is maybe it's a little bit like too much and too complicated, because I only want to do it for the fun. And usually when people say that, what I observe when I watch them train with their dogs, or go on competition and say, I'm just doing it just for fun. We're having fun. But the thing is, usually you're not investing your time in learning how to give the dog a safe space, the body to do it, the mind to do it, and all the games and the skills that you need to do it in a fair way. Because I often see that, and it's so unfair, because the dogs are put into a situation they are not prepared for. And the excuse for that is, oh, it's fine anyway, because we're just doing it for fun.
We're just doing it for fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even if you only want to do it in your backyard and you want to be the world champion of backyard agility, that's fine. But still, it makes so much sense to do it in a right way and to start it in the correct way.
A
And to do it
structured, progressive, fun
in a
way.
system. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But that actually, I found another question, because what you said about like preparation, also body wise, Nancy's asking, in your experience, what are the causes of injuries to agility handlers and dogs?
Mhm.
Lack of fitness, knowledge, distractions, bad luck, other. What's the best way to avoid injuries? And is that even a concern? And I mean, definitely it's a concern. And I think when it comes to agility training, it is very risky if you're not taking care of your dog's body. But one thing that is the main injury prevention is to minimize the amount of repetitions on equipment. Because what we do is we teach everything off equipment, and that's injury prevention, because we don't have to put them up on equipment in full speed when they are not, as Max said, prepared for it. We will put them on equipment when they are prepared for it, body-wise and mind-wise. And that's injury prevention, that the dog knows what is expected from them. We have talked so much about confidence and so much about the dog knowing what is expected from them, but it also goes back to injury prevention, that the dog has a clue what we're asking for. So they're not going up on the dog walk, looking at us, and then, falling off the dog walk. We don't want to have those two leashes for them to stay on the dog walk. So, I mean, injury prevention is also like the big benefit of training the way we do, and how we want to teach you to train.
And also, when you don't know what we are going to teach you about a dog's line, what is the dog's line of travel? And if you don't know what that is, you may push into them and push them off of something and create an opportunity to be, in a situation where they might get injured. This is a great comment from Ruth. I decided to join after doing agility for a year at local classes to learn what you don't learn there. That's a great way to put it, because there are some great local classes, and it's great if you have a local facility that you can rent time at, or go and, as I say, learn from us and then go show off at your local classes. But it's such a popular sport. There's so many people teaching it all over the world, and so few of them have a clue how to create a safe and fun environment for both the dogs and the handlers. It's just so true, Ruth. And so I haven't told you this, so I'm going to tell you now. Here's the link for those of you that are sitting and considering it. Go to dogsthat.com/join, and you'll see the 3 opportunities. You can join. We always encourage you to look at Handling 360 first, because this is a special celebration of the 3 of us have never worked together, and we are officially partners in Handling 360 and Agility Nation. So moving forward, it's going to be us 3. And to celebrate that, we're giving you things this time, which ends tomorrow, this registration period that we've never given anyone before, and are we're not going to do it again, because the prices of those programs is going up in the new year. So this is the best time to do it. Even if you don't have you're still on summer vacation, join now, because we're giving you 3 months free. So it doesn't matter if you can't dive into the information for a month or 2 or 3, because those are free months. Okay.
I like this question. I would call myself positive reinforcing, but I do sometimes feel frustrated or sad because I don't understand what and why some learned skills suddenly don't work. And I'd say the picture for the dog is clear. Do you guys get frustrated / sad while teaching skills?
100%. We're humans.
Yeah.
Yes. So the question is, how do you respond to that emotion?
And also, like, why does it appear? Because I think frustration can also be so connected to, I don't know what to do right now. And that's also where you might need guidance and coaching. And as Max said, like, how do you respond when it happened?
And really it is, what is the meaning you give the emotion you're feeling at that moment? So do you say, I'm frustrated, you know this, what's wrong with you? The meaning you're giving that frustration is I've taught you this. Instead of saying you're frustrated, let's look at what possibly could be the miscommunication between you and your dog. There is a logical explanation. And if you act in a state of frustration, you are going to create the dog's either, if they're really a high drive dog, they might spiral up and then just go, I just want to make you happy. I'm going to grab this tunnel. I'm going to grab this jump. And they're going to appear like they're not listening. Or if it's a dog that spirals down, they're going to get really slow and be really cautious. They don't want to make you mad. That's not what we want. We want to have fun.
Yeah.
Robin says, Max's teaching on soft turns is loaded already into Agility Nation, and it's great. It is great, isn't it?
It is
fun to do it.
It is. Yeah. It was really good. Sally says, if my dog is not an ideal body type, does Handling 360 still work for them? And will the program help them get into better shape?
Handling 360 is, we do have some things that are going to help your dog move, but we recommend if your dog isn't in great shape, our number one fitness suggestion for everybody is getting that dog walking out in the woods or out in a field where you get consistent daily activity that actually is a stress reliever for the dog as well. But we don't have fitness built into the program because there's so many brilliant fitness experts online now. So those are the two things. Number one, daily outside, getting fresh air. It's not bad for all of us as well.
But I think if I can add something to it, if you have a healthy dog and your dog is in a very good physical condition and you're just looking to improve the physical condition, I think the fitness work is necessary for it, but for sure your dog will gain more, like also more stamina and everything.
Absolutely.
That, for sure. So it's not a no, but it's also not an only yes.
Christy, we're looking to join H360 in October. My daughter idolizes you, Susan. Thank you. I'm going to blush. Thank you for your podcast and the videos. There isn't one she hasn't watched. Would 360 be ideal for an almost 14-year-old? Oh my gosh, yes. Like, the neat thing about kids is they are like a blank slate and they don't have to unlearn the things that a lot of adults have to unlearn. So it will be brilliant. However, Christy, H360 won't be available in October. So this is the time that you should jump in if it's at all possible, right? So this would be ideal. It'd be a great gift, surprise gift for your early Christmas present.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a great idea. Then you can adopt me. What do you suggest for a small dog that isn't treat or toy driven? It's difficult to keep consistent when he is stubborn. Okay, so the first thing I would like you to consider, if he wasn't stubborn, what else might you be observing? So when you say he's stubborn, it looks like he's doing something other than what you want. But if he wasn't acting stubborn, what else might you be observing? Could it be that he's found reinforcement that's higher somewhere else than it is doing agility with you? Then that's what we have to change. And he isn't toy or treat motivated, then let's look at your feeding schedule and what you're offering him for reinforcement. And because all dogs have to eat at some point. And so there is an opportunity to turn that around. When you join Handling 360, you will get in the library is this book, The Doggy ADD Solution, and it's all about equaling dogs' drives and looking and making it's a deep dive into what motivates your dog and what you can use for training. So that's one of the bazillion extra things that we haven't even talked about that you get when you join. Okay. I struggle with the time commitment. Not that it's too much time, but I personally struggle to stay on a schedule. I'm an excellent procrastinator. I'm not worried about the value of your program, but I worry about spending that much money and not following through. Carrie, oh, Garrettson. So we're practically related. That's a legitimate concern. And that would be something that could hold you back if you recognize I am somebody who procrastinates. I am the queen of procrastination. So I have to build in habits. When I build in habits, I get SHIT done. So Max has touched on this, and we actually in Handling 360 have something called a habit tracker where we help you to establish the habits of training. Now, when I started my first dog in training, it was a obedience class, puppy class. She was 12 weeks old. We were given every week, we got a little sheet. Did you guys get that as well, where it had the lessons for the week that you had to do? I would go home. We didn't have computers back then, Max. And yes, right. And I would get a ruler and I would make a graph sheet, and I would put every behavior they told me to practice that week. And I would put the number of columns of, like, if they said practice this skill 4 times a day, every day, I would make 24 columns. And then I would just check them off. And it was boring as crap. We're asking you to play a game that you're going to love and your dog's going to love. I was being told to set my dog up to fail so I could correct them on a choke chain. I didn't want to do that, but I made my little chart every week. And so what we're getting you to do, and we're going to help you, and we're going to send you emails. Then Max is going to come with some muscle and knock on your door. No, just kidding. We are going to motivate you and inspire you, not just with what we have for you, but because it's so much fun to do, and you're going to see improvement in your dog, which is going to keep you going. But all of that, plus we help you establish habits of make schedules when you can train. You know what your week looks like. You know that you are not a morning person. So setting an alarm for 5 a.m. because you want to get out there and train probably isn't going to work long term. Right? So you're going to set up little 5-minute sessions throughout the week of when you can train. And that's how slowly but surely you're going to progress your skills.
Yes. P. Mineo said, I joined Handling 360 and I'm not even sure we will compete. I'm 68, never done agility, but want to go closer with my dog who is 4 years and have fun.
That's awesome.
Love that.
So good. So Christine Smith says, financially, it's not an option. I would have less money for fewer entries I can do, but thank you. So Christine Smith, maybe next year you're going to realize that just giving up 1 entry a month will allow you to progress your skills in a way that agility is far more successful for you. But if you feel in your heart that this isn't the time, then maybe next year we will meet again. Sally, we're all about motivation, not about nagging. We will have an app that will sing to you.
That it will do the knocking sound when Max is coming to knock at your door.
Yes, Max is bringing the muscle. Now my English isn't good. When I join Agility Nation, can I be answered in German? Possibly, but probably not. But that's where Google Translate is amazing. Kim and I have spent a lot of time in Germany this past 2 months, and Google Translate is the win for everything. Just get that app, and all that you do is put the app over your computer screen, and it translates it right there. It's amazing. And also, we've had people in our classes that do not speak English, but they learn by observing what they see on the screen. So I'm not saying absolutely no, you will struggle. I'm saying between Google Translate and watching that it will be possible for you. So somebody else asked the question in French. I know it's not too distant future, a year or 2 down the line, where the AI technology will be able to translate things in real time. it's not quite there yet, but I know because I have a friend who's working on it. That will be a possibility. There's a
Robin is
question about space. Do you guys want to talk about this from Janine? My biggest concern is having the equipment and the space to work the whole program.
Yeah. So should I take on equipment and you take on space?
Sure, I think we covered quite much of it, but we can do it again.
So I think equipment wise, we talked about it a lot already, that for sure at some point, if you want to progress in this sport, you will need to work on obstacles, but there is so much to do away from it. And then when you've trained these skills and when you've progressed through them more and more, and you need to go to obstacles and train that, there's multiple ways, because you don't necessarily need to buy that $100-something jump. I did it out of a broom. So in the beginning, it can be.
I made mine out of PVC.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So there's multiple ways to create it, and you just have to be a little bit more creative. But in the beginning, in the first couple of weeks and months, you for sure don't need the backyard full of agility obstacles.
No, and I think it's the same with the spacing. I mean, starting up, there are so many skills you can do in your living room. And even after you've progressed to a certain level, you can still do lots of skills in your living room or in your backyard. And then, of course, as Max says, it comes to a certain point where we need access to equipment. You would only need like bigger spacing when you do courses. But I think in agility, there's so much skill training that you can do. Like, it's not necessarily courses all the time. You can do small parts. You can pick a skill from our virtual seminar or skill testing, and you can work on that specific skill, or you can make a smaller sequence. So, I mean, it's only for like a full course that you would need like big spacing.
If you saw the agility masterclass, we posted the video of Irene from Japan who rented all of this equipment and learned how to make, or she learned how to drive a backhoe. I think she was 67. It's hysterical. I mean, she's such an inspiration. But really, if you have, I recommend like a dog bed. Auntie Susan's giving you permission to buy a dog bed. There's that. A crate, and you can even, one of our students were talking about to make just out of PVC the frame of a crate, and then you can go on Amazon and buy crate covers, and there's your crate. Some people do that for making tunnels. So you can buy a short little 2 meter or 6 foot tunnel, or you can just make one by draping a blanket over a frame of PVC. So there's things that you can do without, but really, you know, homemade jump, a cone, a crate, and or a dog bed, and a homemade tunnel like those. And that isn't even for the first 2 or 3 classrooms, or the first 2 classrooms, you don't even need that much. All right, getting through our questions. The space we already talked about. And remember, with Agility Nation, you can buy it month to month. So Handling 360 is a commitment. You say, I'm going to buy the program, and then you have a month to decide if you want to stay. And then that is a year long. We want to take you from the very base level all the way through to the end. But Handling 360 or Agility Nation, you can buy 1 month. I think it's $79 right now for 1 month.
Yes, 79. Oh, Christy says, we've been wanting to join for months. First, she said about the Christmas presents, Susan, that dog walk. And they've been wanting to join for months. Things just haven't fallen in line. But now is your time.
Yeah, Christy, we hope it happens. Yeah. And if you want to contact the team, if you guys go into dogsat.com/join, there's live chat in the bottom. And if you want to talk, in private about any of the issues that you have, you can certainly do that. There was a question about here. This is from Ann Lynn. what are the best breeds for agility? I really want to do agility in the future. My 2 dogs are not suitable, a golden and a collie with C hips. So I'll have to wait, but looking into breeds for the future. So I'm not sure what C hips, how bad are C hips?
No,
Um,
mild dysplasia.
yeah.
So my border collie with C hips, we don't grade them that way. My border collie on Encore, she won a gold medal at the World AWC. She won many national championships. She went on and had a great career in agility. Many, unfortunately, there's hip dysplasia on border collies in some lines, and some dogs just get it. And yeah, it doesn't mean that they can't do it.
Many dogs on the highest level
Mhm.
that does agility with even D hips, but maybe the fitness aspect will be a little bit more important.
Ding, ding. I was always very, very intentional about the fitness that I did for Encore.
And then, I mean, a golden and a collie, I mean, they are both perfect breeds for agility. I have a student with a golden retriever. It's an amazing golden retriever.
He's amazing. I love him.
Yeah.
I saw him last week. He's amazing.
He's incredible. And we have multiple of collies also doing agility in Sweden. So definitely both of them good breeds for agility.
Yeah. And in the end, I think Susan mentioned it already. You have to love the breed that you're getting. So this is number one priority. I think looking at the big events, usually like the majority, for example, in the large category is usually border collies. But that if border collie is not your type of dog, you shouldn't get one.
No, agree. Agree.
If something else if the golden retriever is your dog, then your goal, or my goal, if it would be my dog, would be I want to get as good as possible with the breed and this dog that I love.
Exactly. And Ruth said, any whippets? Yeah. Locally, we have several whippets that compete in agility here. So yes. And in America, in the United States, they have their big showcase, and you see all the breeds, every breed. You find 5 dogs of every breed there. Absolutely.
Like about what you said, Max, there's a girl in Norway that I've had in my seminars a few times. She runs with corgis, and her like biggest goal and what she always wants to achieve is she wants to do all the things that the border collies can do with her corgis. So she does this like super cool, crazy layering, sending to like far distance weaves, and her corgis are so skilled, and she just loves that breed. And she said, like, I feel the best when I can do with my corgis what the other can do with their border collies, for example.
Right. That's awesome. Robin wants to know what we need to do to have one of us knock on her door. Be careful what you ask for, Robin. We have done that twice when we've been once in Australia and once in America. We surprised students by one time knocking on a door. It was like 10 o'clock at night. And I think we might have scared it. We didn't know it was an old farm, like she lived in a farmhouse, and one of our students, she'd just lost her husband, and we wanted to surprise her and wish her, to cheer her up. And
oh my God,
it turned out well. So
Sherry says, do I have to run as fast on a course as Max and Enya?
I mean,
I'm in trouble, Sherry. That's a criteria. You can make that as fun as you want. It's just not happening with this girl.
No, you don't. As we mentioned before already, it's the skills that we train and how we train it and the commitment that our dogs are having and that we want to teach you for your dogs as well will help you not needing to run as fast as Usain Bolt or Enya Habel or whatever. Because Enya is almost as fast as Usain Bolt.
Almost. So, the question, and now you have a little over 24 hours to decide if you see the value now in investing in a great reinforcement-based program and not just relying on chance. Maybe a local place will give you part of what you need, but you're not relying on chance when you're joining us for great online education that you can do at home. That's the best place for dogs to learn, not an environment where they're filled with distractions. There's just, I mean, there's just so many reasons. I don't want to disrespect local venues because you need them to go and show off after you've learned our program. You need them to rent their facilities so that you can run full courses, but that is not the best place to take a dog to learn a new skill. Nowhere is as good as your backyard or your living room. I'd start in your living room and then go to your backyard. And so, you know, now is like 24, 28 hours left. I'm not sure. I can't do that math real quick. Before we close down our first ever registration period, which is just so exciting of what we're going to see coming from these students that are joining us now. And if it looks possible for you, don't let, you know, some people say, oh, I have to talk to my partner, or I have to talk to, and that might be real, but I always thought it was better to beg forgiveness myself. But you have to do what's right for you. But, you know, I remember when I was going to start my first online classroom, and I decided to ask two friends whose opinion I really valued. One owned the largest board and train doggy daycare in the United States. It was massive. And the other, because I wanted to know, you know, do you think this is going to work, this online dog training? And the other was a person who was like, had on speed dial, had Steve Jobs and Woz on, like he was a big techie who knew the highest level of technology. And both of them told me not to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad I didn't. I listened to my heart and not the logical reasons why people told me not to try it. So be careful of the questions you ask yourself, and be careful of who you're getting advice. If you ask somebody who's never taken a risk to benefit themselves or their dogs, they're going to tell you, no, don't do it, because if you're going to do it and they're not going to do it, you're going to leave them behind. It's got to be a personal question that you ask yourself. Do you want us in your ear for the next 15 months? And if you do, don't think about it. Join, because you can try it out. Try out Handling 360 for a month. Try out Agility Nation for 2 weeks. Make an educated decision after you see what we have planned for you inside.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
I think we covered a lot.
Ruth said, my sister said, go for it. And that little cute little Whippet Muggy said, go for it too. I think that's what I yeah. And Kimberly said, that's my ultimate goal for my beagle, to be able to do what your BCs can do, just slower. And that you should have that ultimate goal. That's amazing.
Yeah. Sure.
So we're going to sign off because it's getting late for Max and Enya. If you have any last questions,
Ooh, Jeanette.
Congratulations, I joined Agility Nation. He's going to support me. Good job. Oh, Jeanette, that's awesome. Good job.
Oh, that's nice.
And if you have any questions, you can go to the live chat, leave your questions there. And if you go to the dogset.com/join and scroll to the bottom, you'll see some of our student stories. You'll probably see yourself in one of our student stories, but there's also FAQs about what you might be thinking. There's probably an FAQ in there for you. Is Agility Nation step-by-step? Sherry, it's step-by-step for each skill. So it's not like a week-by-week progression. It will be one topic, and like, say, layering. There might be several lessons on layering, or several lessons on weave challenges, or several lessons on contacts. But it isn't like a classroom like Recallers or Handling 360 is. Kathleen, you can watch it. I know you missed it live, but you can watch the reruns. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Last thing, we're signing off, but if you share this live and all of the good information in it, tomorrow we will go into the chat in both YouTube and in Facebook, and we will announce a winner. We're going to give a set of Galligan tunnel bags, and all you have to do is share this information, because I think this mindset about allowing yourself to fail, dance in public, let people laugh at you, and stop caring what people think about you. Do what's right for you in your heart. And when you do, so then it's freeing, right? So there's so much good information in here. Share this, come on back, right? Share it in the comments tomorrow. What time is it? It's before 5 o'clock tomorrow. We're going to write who our share winner is, and you can win a Galligan tunnel bag, which none of us have handy, but we all have them. So thank you for all of you who played full out in the masterclass. Thank you to our sponsors for my Merles and Galligan. Thank you to my amazing team who have been putting in late nights and early mornings. And thank you to Max and Enya, because I'm super excited about the next 15 months. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
See you.
Click the link and we'll see you inside Handling 360 and Agility Nation. Bye-bye.
Bye.